All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Inside the LPGA podcast. Today's guest is very special for many reasons. First and foremost, Stacy Lewis, you are one of our very few returning guests that we've had onto the podcast, and we are talking about much different things. Last time we had you on, you guys had just won at the Solheim Cup. It was epic. It was amazing, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but this episode, we're mainly having you on because you just hold your last official putt on the LPGA Tour in Hawaii. So how are you doing? How are the emotions? You're back home. So yeah. How's it going? And thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you. It's I don't know, I guess a little bit surreal. It's just been the last couple weeks, I guess, have been crazy since I announced in Arkansas, and the whole ending there was kind of weird. And but it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. It's been, the messages I've gotten from people have been really cool. Like, it's been players kind of telling me like the first time they met me and like the impact that you
Aw.
had, and like it's I guess you just don't realize the impact you have until like you're kind of done like this, and people are sad to see you go, which is a good thing. And but I can tell you my body's ready, especially after flying back from Hawaii on an 8-hour flight and having a 6-year-old laying on top of you for 7 hours.
Yeah. I can imagine. With those texts and all the messages that you're getting, has there been anything that has kind of like surprised you, or, any stories that you're like, I don't even remember that, but sometimes it sticks with people in a different way?
Yeah, one player, Perrin, who plays on tour, she never told me. I mean, we talk a lot, and she never told me that I was a player that she really looked up to and watched before she came on tour. And then I think it was one of her first events. We kind of came on the first tee together for a practice round, and she was freaking out. I didn't think anything of it. And so it's like it's just little moments like that. Like, you just, I guess, for all the other players out there, like when you meet somebody for the first time or you meet a rookie, like you can really have an impact on
Mm.
somebody. And so it's just kind of those little moments. Allie Ewing, our paths kind of cross kind of weird. She Monday qualified for this British Open at, I think it was at Kings Barnes that year. We were in St. Andrews. She didn't have a place to stay, and so I was like, "Come on, come stay at our loft." And then,
Oh,
so she stayed with
that's
us that
awesome.
week, and then paths cross again in the Solheim Cup at Glen Eagles when I couldn't play. She was kind of the fill-in for me, and she just said, how I handled that week, and just what an important week that was for her
Mm.
personally, and how hard it was for me. And so, you know, I don't know, you just like in moments like that, you just don't really think about the impact, but it's been really cool to get some stories like that back again.
I have a couple of my stories, but
Uh-oh.
I mean, I have a couple. Well, but I was an amateur. I just won the national championship, and when you win the national
Mhm,
championship, you get to go play. And at the time, it was the marathon. And
mhm.
so Stacy and her husband took me out to dinner, just us three. And I remember being like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh, okay. But I, of course, didn't act nervous. I remember like talking nonstop like the whole time.
Yeah.
Stacy was probably like, great.
But honestly, like she gave me the best advice. I didn't end up following it, wish I would have. She told me, don't, the first 3 years, don't change anything of your game. Like you're here for a reason. And it stuck with me. And I've actually told people, like, Stacy Lewis told me this. You do what she told me. I didn't do it. Do it. And then I also got to play with you in a practice round at a US Open, one of my first, when I was
Hmm.
like 15 years old.
Yep.
And that was pretty amazing. It was me, you, Natalie Golbus, and Betsy King. I don't know if you remember that, but like I
Not
walked
bad,
up on the
huh?
tee and I was like, whoa, because I
What
just
did I
signed
sign up
up.
for?
Yeah, I have a picture. But yeah, all
Yeah.
those moments, like just such a big
Hmm.
impact on people. And then also, I mean, later in my career, she also gave me the opportunity to do media at the Solheim Cup, which was like,
Hmm.
my dream was to play on a Song Cup, and I didn't get to do it. And she let me come out and be part of the
Yep.
team that way. So, I mean, you definitely have made just like a huge difference in so many people's golf careers, including mine. And I totally agree. It's kind of crazy because I see you as a friend now, but Yeah, we all looked
Hmm.
up to you before we even got on tour too, which is like kind of
Yeah,
crazy because you're not that much older than us, but you were
I
number
know.
one in the world before we all got on tour, which is
Yep,
wild. So,
it is.
but
It is.
going back, those are my stories.
Yep.
It's not about
Yep.
me, but you've done it all,
Well, thank
Stacey.
you. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
you had Chesney in Hawaii, you had your longtime
Hmm.
caddy Travis, you had Fraser in the
Hmm.
group. How that was a full
Yes.
circle moment for you?
It was. So Frazier, caddies for Emily Pedersen now, so when I played Curtis Cup at St. Andrews, we just got randomly paired up with the caddies that week. And so I got Frazier. And we, of course, I mean, I had an amazing week. He was awesome. He was the one that taught me how to play links golf. Like take a pitching wedge, land it here, and it's going to roll out to here. Like just the little things I didn't know how to do. And so we got done at Curtis Cup, and he wanted to come caddy for me full time. And he had a little kid at the time. I'm like, no, like I don't have status anywhere. Like we're not going to pick up and move our whole family. And so we had just stayed in touch over the years, and so it really was a full circle moment to one that in the last few years he had come out to caddy on tour and then to just, I mean, what are the odds you get paired together
I thought
in
that
your
that might
last
have
round?
been, but no, it wasn't.
It was just totally how the scores fell. And I missed, said I had a short putt on 18 for birdie the day before that I missed. And then I looked at the scores and I was like, oh my gosh, like there's totally a reason that I missed that putt.
That's cool. That gives me chills.
And so for one, have him, and then Travis, who my only other caddy. I mean, I basically had those two guys have been my caddies for the last 20 years.
That's so wild to think
So
about.
yeah, so for us to end up together in the last group in that last group, it was a little bit emotional for all of us, but it was really, really special.
And what's Travis feeling like?
Mm.
Have you guys had like good conversations? What was his reaction?
He actually hasn't said a whole lot yet. I think, in his head and in mine too, like I'm gonna play Chevron one more time. And when I told him earlier this year that this year was gonna be it. He goes, well, we can go get that senior open that we never won in 5 years,
Nice.
you know? So, or whatever. Hopefully it's 5 years. Hopefully they change the requirement. But, so,
Hmm.
I think in the back of his mind, like he's going to caddy for me again at some point. But yeah, but definitely life is going to look different for both of us. And neither one of us has had to worry about, a caddy,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
most players. That's like their
I was a
biggest
caddy
stressor
killer.
is, yeah, like, killer. Like who's going to caddy for
Stop.
me in the next tournament? And he's never had to worry about who he's
Yeah,
working for. Like for 17 years, neither one of us
that's
has had to worry about it.
crazy.
So we both just been amazingly lucky.
I think a lot of fans probably don't realize this, but you
Hmm.
spend more time with your caddy than you do your own husband.
Oh, for
So like
sure.
you guys are best friends, and to do that for 17
Hmm.
years together is pretty remarkable because
Yeah.
it's high intensity moments and it's um, like exciting moments. It's yeah,
Emotions
just so
and
much going on.
yeah,
So kudos to you guys for making
yeah.
it. That's harder than
I
marriage.
know.
That's a
I
long
know.
time. Yeah.
It is. It's longer than my marriage for sure.
That's
Um,
amazing. I actually, Emma kind of already asked about it, but I want
mhm,
to go back to that final putt,
mhm,
that you made at the Lotte Championship. What was going through your head? I
mhm,
mean, you said it hasn't fully sunk in yet, but when
mhm.
that was all going on, like, were you getting emotional? Were you trying to hold it in? What was going through your head on 18?
Just trying to hold it in, really. It's actually kind of a tricky little par three there in Hawaii too.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to hit the green and
Like, I
make
gotta
it. We
focus.
got to make this easy so we're not struggling for par on our last hole. Um, but for the daycare ladies to bring Chesney out to get to see me do that
Mm,
and to get to finish there and like I don't know, it was just more about the guys in the group there with me and than it
yeah.
was necessarily the people watching or anything like that. I feel like I'd kind of gotten all the emotional part out in Arkansas. I had a lot of trouble
Yeah.
there. So I was definitely much more ready for it in Hawaii.
You haven't had much time to like be retired yet, but what is that going to look like as far as a day to day? I mean, you don't have to work out, you don't have to practice, you don't have to do a lot of things. So, do you know what that's going to look like?
I think the working out will continue. That's just like a part of me and a part of I feel good. I feel better when I do it. The daily practice is definitely going to stop. Honestly, and that's the part that's been the hardest is the practicing and like on my body and stuff, just trying to feel prepared and being busy every day. So, taking Chesney to school and picking her up and doing her homework and all of her stuff that she's got going on, I mean, that's going to be at the top of the list now. And, you know, I, I don't know exactly what's next. I've got some ideas and maybe some things out there of what I want to do, but definitely not a full-time job. Been lucky that, I don't necessarily have to go work, which is pretty darn cool. But you guys know me. I like to stay busy, so I'm gonna find something to
Yes.
do.
Yeah, we'll see Stacy somewhere soon, and we're like, oh, yeah,
Oh,
there
a
it
couple
is.
weeks later.
Yeah,
I'm done.
that's my time.
I'm done relaxing. On to the next.
Yep, yep.
Stacy, I just want to run back some of your accomplishments really quick because the list is pretty long. You have 13 wins, two majors, one of them at St. Andrews, which is pretty epic. So I guess Fraser teaching you links golf really paid off. You were world number one, Solheim Cup victories, including captaining a victorious team. You mentioned all of these players messaging you and kind of, running back all of these like amazing memories. But when did it ever occur to you, like, I'm kind of creating a really like legendary career right now? Like when did that moment ever occur to you, or was it just when you started getting those texts?
No, I mean, I think once I started winning like the Player of the Years and the Bear trophies,
Hmm.
like you're on the pretty exclusive list. Like there's
Yeah.
not many people that have done this. There's not many Americans that have done it. So I think it was more when those kind of things started hitting, it was like, oh, like we're doing something that's pretty cool here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I just feel so lucky. Like none of this was ever planned. Like I mean, shoot, I was 18 years old starting college and I couldn't swing a golf club.
Mhm.
To go from that to all of this, to all of these accomplishments, like I mean, it's kind of storybook. Like nothing was ever planned. I just the right pieces fell into place. I got lucky with the people around me, and I worked super hard. Like I never was gonna have the best golf swing. I never was the most talented. Like, but I just worked harder. I worked harder than everybody else, and that's how I got to where I did.
Oh, I just got the chills. I've gotten the chills like three times during this podcast episode. You mentioned not being able to swing a club, when you were 18. You had a major back surgery, you had scoliosis.
Yeah.
How did that shape you as a player, as a person? And, you obviously had a very successful career, but
Yeah.
what did you learn about yourself through all of those hardships?
I mean, Stacy the golfer doesn't exist if I don't go through that. Um,
Yeah.
it molded me into this person and this player that I am, and um, I don't wish it on anybody. It's awful. It's a horrible surgery. It's a horrible the bracing part. Like it was awful as a kid. Like to
Mm.
go, it was I was supposed to wear this brace for 2.5, 3 years, and ended up being 6.5 years. And so you go through
Wow.
these disappointments for 3 years, every 3 or 4 months, we go to the doctor, do x-rays. Is this the time? Is this the time? And like you just go through these disappointments over and over and over again. And you got to learn how to pick yourself up and find the good in things and keep going. And if that's not golf, I don't know what is, right? I mean, you got to pick yourself back up and keep going. And it's I mean, it's really hard to fathom, to be honest, all that I've done, just given the body that I was given, and then to do it for, I guess I'm 20, what am I? I'm 20 plus years out of back surgery
Wow.
now, and like still able to play at a high level and like do it as a job. Like it's really, really
Mm.
amazing, and I just don't take it for granted. I don't know. I just feel really
Mm.
lucky.
This
So,
next one is a two-part question. You talked about
hmm
a lot of the people that are around you, you wouldn't be here without those people. I
Hmm.
also feel like you're the type of person that when you know your people, you keep them very close to you. Because I know your people,
Hmm.
like I can basically name them. Um, but I know
Yep.
Shauna was at Arkansas was Coach Shauna was a huge part of
Hmm.
that. What was your college
Yep.
experience like, especially having back surgery? I know the
Yeah.
chipping and the putting for that first year, and then also your
Yeah.
college experience with her and just how important of a role she played.
Hmm. Yeah. So Shauna, she beat me at Arkansas by about 6 months. She beat me by a semester, and the coach at the time, Kelly Hester, brought her in. She had just finished playing, so she was like really in that playing mindset still. And she was only a few years older than me, so it was, I don't know. I guess our personalities matched, and it was just good timing, I guess, more than anything. It's one of those things, right? Like most things in life. And she, I mean, is one of my best friends to this day. Like, just her and Kelly, I don't know what they saw in me. I really don't, but like they pushed me harder than anybody else. Like if we had an up and down contact game, like say the team had to get 13 out of 18 up and downs to like pass the drill or whatever. And they would come up to me and say, "Hey, you got to get 15." Like, and so it was like, and I don't know what, like, and then you ask them, they don't know. Like, they just, like, we just push you harder. And they saw something and they expected more out of me. Like, I had to get a 4.0 in my classes. Like, I had to do all this stuff. And, just call it one of those timing things. But, like, they were kind of became my moms at school. They took care of me. And I was in pain a lot. I mean, it probably hurt every day for 2 years. I mean, it
Mhm.
just never, I mean, and I just like Kelly, like one day I remember her asking me at workouts, like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "It kind of hurts or whatever." And she goes, "Well, you need to tell me when it hurts." I say, "Kelly, it hurts every day and I'm okay. And I'll tell you if it gets really bad, but I'm okay." And so I go practice and I go to the training room and make these big bags of ice and throw them on my back. And I lay there for 30 minutes. And that's what I did every single
Mhm.
day. But that's what I had to do to play. And I had to go to the gym at tournaments when nobody was going. This was when nobody was going to the gym. But I had to go to the gym at tournaments in the mornings and work out and get going so I had to do things different. But I mean, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
change it. I mean, it's made me into this and to get to do all this
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I feel like too, just
Yeah.
like you
Hmm.
kind of said, it shaped you into being world number one. You had to go to the gym. You didn't get the choice, and that's
Hmm.
amazing. And I don't think people,
Yeah.
unless you were there when it was all happening, we probably can't even understand what all
Hmm.
you went through as a 18 to
Yeah.
20-year-old kid. Incredible
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and I'll say too, when I turned pro, like I was kind of tired of dealing with it, and talking about it. And it was like I just want to be known for my
Hmm.
golf. And so I didn't talk about it that much because I was so sick
Yeah.
of it. Like I was just sick of talking about it. And I didn't want to be this kid that was just known for her back. Like I wanted to be known for my golf. And so for a while there, I didn't talk about it. And then I started getting all these messages and letters from kids and stuff. And I was like, all right,
That's cool.
I
I
gotta
got
start
chills
talking
again.
Guess I
about
gotta
this.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I gotta start doing this. And like even, last week or a couple weeks ago in Boston, a kid showed up with a back brace and I signed it
Oh,
for her. And
wow.
it's pretty cool now is the kids are actually wearing them outside their clothes now, which is pretty cool. Like I wore it under my clothes. I hid it from everybody.
Not
I
trying to
didn't
hide
want
it.
know anybody
Yeah.
to have it. And so they're not trying to hide it, which I think is really
Yeah.
cool, like about how far
Hmm.
we've come with it.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing. Inspiring on and off the course.
mhm.
Just saying. And
Trying.
whenever
Yep.
you did, you had a great career at Arkansas and then you turned pro and you hit the ground
Hmm.
running pretty fast. Um, you've told me what
Hmm.
it takes. I remember we had a deep conversation about what it takes to be world number one, but tell the fans, what were those first
Hmm.
few years like and all the work that it takes to be world number one?
Yeah. The rookie year was good. I played probably as good a golf as I did in college. I was number one player in college, like won 6 times. I was like coming out, like I was thinking I was pretty good. And so I came out and played the same golf and I was 50th on the LPGA. I'm like, oh, all right, I got to figure out how to get better, and then gosh, I met Joe, my swing coach, at the end of that rookie year, and he was really the one that kind of provided me, hey, this is how we can get better because I didn't really know. Like I kind of reached my point with my instructor I've been with, and in college, you're like, okay, I don't know how to get better. And so he kind of created this blueprint for me. We got to get your body stronger. We got to do this. We got to get the club here. And so I started working with my trainer that I met at the end of my rookie year. And then it took basically, it would have been about a year and a half from that point, and then I got my first win. So, like, everybody wants success to happen like this, like super fast. Like that's why I talk to all these younger players now. Like they want it to happen now, and I'm like, you got to be willing to put the time in every single day, and not expect to get better. To get better a year and a half from now, to win a tournament a year and a half from now, and I was just always the kind of I was just committed to the long term process of everything. I was never that short term with things. And I think that's part of what helped me get to number one in the world is I just saw this whole thing as a process of it's everything I do every single day. It's the time I go to the gym. It's the amount of sleep I get. It's the amount I'm practicing, how I'm practicing, what I'm practicing. It was like, it was everything. And that is ultimately, that's what gets you to number one in the world. It's not like you just wake up one day and you start hitting it better. Like
You're there.
It's a lot of things. It's the mental side of learning how to handle it all. Like, it's a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a potentially, not actually controversial question, but maybe a hard question to answer. You, like we've already talked about your accomplishments quite a bit, but if you had to rank top 3 moments in your career, 1 to 3, how do you think you would rank them? What would they be?
1 and 2 are pretty easy. 1 and 2 would be St. Andrews, and then winning in Scotland after I had Chesney.
Oh,
That was so
amazing.
cool.
Just,
I think everyone
Yeah.
stayed and watched.
Emma, you've had a child now, so
Can't imagine.
you understand it more now once you have a kid, I think, of what your body goes through, what your mind goes through. To just prove, and it was more just proving it to myself that I could come back and do it again. 3 would be hard. The win in Arkansas was pretty cool, like
Yeah.
up there, just because that was a hard place for me to play all those years, like just the amount of pressure that's on you to
Oh, I'm
perform there.
sure.
Um, Man, there's so many. The first win, jumping into Poppy's Pond,
Yeah.
getting to number one, the win in Arizona at the Founders Cup, getting to number one in the world, like that was, and
What a place to do it
yeah, and
too.
my caddy
Yeah.
Travis got us a 2-shot penalty, and we overcame it the last day, and so it's like it's more about it's not
That's
necessarily
crazy.
like a win, it's like what went into the win, of that Saturday I had just birdied 18. I think I was like one back of the lead or something. And, Sue Witters, the official, comes up. It's like, hey, we need to go look at something. I'm like, oh gosh, what
You're
now?
like, no,
And
the dreaded words.
yeah, so we went in the trailer and we looked at this video and I know Travis, I know he would never do this, but it looked like he was kind of testing the bunker, like testing the sand in the bunker. So and this is when people could still call in. So we got a 2-shot penalty. And so now we were more back going into Sunday. And the cool part was, so when we went to came out of the trailer and I had to go do media and I come out and there's like literally everybody's gone. Like there's nobody, all the volunteers are gone. Like everybody's gone except for my dad and Travis are sitting on the putting green. They're on a knee, both their heads are down, all this. I was like, hey, you guys, we got a golf tournament to win tomorrow. It's over with. It's done. Like, let's move on.
Oh,
And
I
it was
love
like
that.
they both kind of like popped up, like, what is
Like,
going
what?
on? And we took Travis to dinner and bought him a beer, and we came
Oh,
out and won the next day, and all is fine. And then you get to number one in the world. You wake up the next morning, and you pull out your phone and you see that you're number one in the
Chills
world.
again.
Like it's
Oh,
We need a chill
I
count.
can't imagine
pretty
that.
cool.
That's so cool.
Just like it's just those like those stories that go into those wins and those moments. Like those are the things that
Totally.
I'll remember, more than like the 8 iron that I hit
Hmm.
or this shot. Like you remember
Hmm.
those moments like
Absolutely.
that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I don't think I ever knew that story about
That's a good
founders.
one.
So
Hmm.
that's so
Yeah,
wild. He needed a beer that night.
yeah. Oh, and how about a couple years later in Dallas, I kicked my golf ball during the round. And
Uh-oh.
he goes, "Oh, we're even now." I'm like, and guess what? I won
He's
the
been holding
tournament.
that one in.
Won the tournament.
Wow.
Yep.
You just needed to start
That
doing that
is
more
so
often.
So
funny.
I just need to get some penalties called to
That's
myself,
nuts.
apparently.
I mean, Travis, a
Yep.
beer will
Yep.
fix a lot of Travis's problems, you know.
Hmm.
He's a beer dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Any
Yeah.
caddy's problems.
Um,
Simple
Yeah.
man.
I think a big decision, I think for me, when I look at you as a golfer and as a person, you've been able to balance your life and golf really, really well. Um, you have a husband, you got married while you're playing, then you guys decided to have a child, like you said, then
Hmm.
you went after. Um, how did you balance life off the road,
Hmm.
off tour, and the golf life so well?
Well, it took time. I don't think it's one of those things that you like know how to deal with right away. I think of times early in my career where golf was too much. Like it was too much of my life. I couldn't leave
Hmm.
it at the golf course. I was taking it home with me every day, and if I played poorly, I was mad until I teed it up the next day, and it was just kind of like, all right, I can't keep doing this to myself. And when I got to number one in the world, I actually worked with a sports psychologist for a little while, and it was on how to handle everything, on how to handle the external and everything everyone was saying and what they thought. And what probably wasn't until then that I really learned how to
Hmm.
balance things, how to balance being Stacy and being Stacy Lewis, the golfer. And then, you get married, and it's how am I going to be a wife and
Hmm.
then go be a golfer, and then how am I going to be a mom and then go, and like I've had very clear boundaries with it all, and it's part of why my husband's never really caddied for me, is to keep things kind of separate. And when I'm with Chesney, I'm with Chesney. Like I'm not, I tried to not, during Solheim it was different. She started doing pretend Solheim calls. So I was like, okay, we need to maybe work on these boundaries a little bit. Um, so there's moments where I probably haven't gotten it all right, but it was getting to number one in the world. I was like, oh gosh, I gotta have some balance to this. I can't be defined by my golf. Like I can't be the person that I am, um, based on a golf score. And so it's something I've preached to these younger players is trying to find that balance and trying to find what they like to do. What do you like to do outside of golf? Who do you want to be outside of golf? Do you have a charity? Do you want to work with kids? What do you want to do? That is you as a person versus you as the
Absolutely.
golfer.
Yeah, I think that's a very important message, and I think you've done that very well, by the way.
Mm.
Um, I mean, look at Fossey. I
Well,
would
thank
say
you.
that you've mentored her if I'm putting words in your mouth,
Hmm.
but she has Fossey and
Yeah.
friends, and she's absolutely
Hmm.
killing it. And she's such a great person on and
Yeah.
off the golf course.
Yeah.
So you've done very well.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say there's a time she'd probably be okay with me saying this, but there was a time, she hadn't been playing as well, and she wanted to stop doing it to be more focused on golf. And I said, no, like your golf is going to get better
Hmm.
because you're doing this. And so I've encouraged her to keep doing it, even though maybe the golf's not exactly where we want it to be right now. Like there's a reason
Hmm.
that you're doing this, and you get to go impact
A
a lot of
lot of
people and a lot
people.
of kids. Um, and looking back on my career now, that stuff matters a whole lot
Yes,
more
for
than golf
sure.
score.
You talked about having Chesney out on tour
So,
and how I just remember I'm going to tell a story. I hope you don't mind, but Patrick, I was already asleep, and Patrick and some of the caddies went to a hockey game one night, and he got back. It was like on a Friday
hmm.
night, and like he got in bed. It wasn't even that
Hmm.
late. It was like 9:30 at night, maybe 10 o'clock at night. He said, "You'll never guess who." I think you were in second place,
Hmm.
And he's like, you'll never guess who I just saw. And I was like,
Hmm.
who? He's like, Stacy was having to clean the sheet. She was in the laundry room and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I guess Chesney had wet the bed or something. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you had to tee up the next
Hmm.
day. And like, so my question to that is,
Yeah.
obviously there have been amazing moments having a child on tour, but there's probably been a lot of behind the scenes moments
Hmm.
where you're like, what am I doing? What are some of those amazing experiences that Chesney
Uh-huh.
has had with you on the road? And also, what were the
Mhm.
hardest parts about having a child on the tour?
I think the amazing ones are has honestly been around Solheim. That's because when she's been like kind of old enough to realize all that's going on, and I'll never forget walking into the team room in Spain, and she's got this fake nail polish, and she's sitting there doing the caddy's nails, and um,
That's so
just
sweet.
hanging out with all these players and getting to be like around these girls and like coming out of at Inverness, I was an assistant there and we had like smaller pods, and so I was with Nellie and Jess and Megan, and like when I asked her a month later, I was like, "Who do you want to invite to your birthday party?" We were having a birthday party. She goes, "Nellie and Jess and Megan," and I'm like, she
All her
just thinks that
besties.
yeah, these people they're just like normal people to her, but like she's
Hmm.
gotten to see the hard work that goes into it. She's seen me practice. She's gone to the gym with me. She's gone to practice with me. Like, and to be around these really strong women, like, I mean, it's
It's
really
amazing.
invaluable to watch her grow up
Yeah.
in that environment. And then all the things we've gotten to do. I mean, the kid has seen the world. Like,
Yeah.
she was talking the other day about being in Wales and all the roundabouts in Wales, you know,
No, that's
and
so funny.
Niagara. I took her to Niagara Falls when we were in Canada this year. Like, I made it a point to like really try to
Mm.
take her to do things in all the places we've been because
Hmm.
I just don't know. One, I didn't know how long it was going to last, and just for her to be able to go back to school now and tell her friends and her teacher about Niagara Falls and all this stuff she's learning, like that's really been the incredible part. But I mean, traveling with an almost 2-year-old during COVID, you guys want to talk about
Oh,
hard? Like that
I can't
was,
imagine.
trying to get her to understand why people are wearing masks and why she has to wear a mask, and you can't go to restaurants and sit. So you're trying to sit in hotel rooms and eat dinner with an almost 2-year-old, which is hard enough as it is. We ended up at parks a
Yeah.
lot, went to just parks to just get out and run around. There are multiple flights where you'd end up with poop and pee all over you. And I learned to travel with not only a change of clothes for her, but a change of clothes for
Yeah.
myself.
Been there
Um,
already.
you've been there, yeah, yeah. Um, there was one year in LA. She had an ear infection, and so I'd take her to UCLA's Med Center, and it was late. I mean, yeah, it was call it 10, 11 o'clock at night. And we get back after midnight, and of course, I'm play early the next
Of
day.
course.
Went out and shot 65. No clue how. So then you get to sleep in the next day, you get to rest, and I shot over par the next day. Right? So, I mean, like there's really no rhyme or reason to it ever, but like there are just those moments that the doc trying to find doctors on the road. We have tons of ear infections on the road, and like traveling
Mm,
with all that and the stuff and the car seat, and luckily she's been very like resilient as far as like sleeping, because that's probably the
that's
hardest part
good.
with a kid is like you're sleeping in very different environments every week. So we just try to make it the same and as
Wow.
much as we
Super
can.
mom. Super mom. Super
Oh,
mom,
that
super
sounds
daughter.
hard.
It's
Sounds.
yeah, you just figure it out as you go. I think there's no book to it. People want to know what the secret is. I'm like,
Yes.
you just figure it out.
I have two nephews, and I
Hmm.
see, my sister and her husband are planning a trip right now with them, and they're like doing so much planning. And
Hmm.
that always makes me think of like how the moms do it on tour. I'm like, they have to do this
Yes.
every week.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Like even little things like when we
kudos.
go to Canada, going across the border, like if I just take Chesney by myself, you got to have a letter with you that just says it's okay to do it, that my husband's okay for me to take my daughter there. And it's just like, like little things like that people just don't even realize. Like you just have to be super prepared and you have to plan, like,
Everything.
and it helps you, but it helps the kid too, to be a
Yeah.
little bit when you're more planned like that.
Yeah. Last question from me.
know.
We've already kept you
You're
over
good.
time, but it's just been a great chat.
Lots of stories.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You definitely left the tour in a better place, Stacy. Now moving forward, there's other generations coming in. There's, the players that are there already, like the superstars like Nelly and, Gino, everybody. How do we continue to grow the LPGA? And, what do you think needs to be done? Because it's such a good time for women's sports. So how do we stay on this trajectory?
The players really have to take ownership of this tour, and that's something I've tried to stress to people over the years, other players, kind of privately behind the scenes, like this is your tour, and you guys got to take ownership of it. You got to take care of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you have to care. If you see trash on the ground, pick it up. Clean out your locker at the end
Right.
of the week. Like do all these little things that make sure these tournaments want us coming back. Not only the sponsors, make sure the golf course wants us coming back every year. Um, take care of the media, answer the questions as much as you can. There are definitely times where I said no and like I needed a
Yeah.
minute to kind of,
And fair.
yeah, like sometimes you just need a minute. But like if you can take 10, 15 minutes and then come back and answer the questions, like it really means a lot. And so just to really take care of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what the players that came before me, they stressed to me of the importance of
Yeah.
that. Meg Mallon and Beth Daniel told me when I got to number one in the world, they said, you're going to be asked to do a lot and you need to do as much as you can.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of the opposite of a lot of mindsets right now. And it helped me personally, it helped me professionally, it helped me with sponsors and all of that too. So but I think we're in a good path. I'm excited about the leadership changes and kind of everything that's going on at the tour right now. I think we're on a good path, but we really got to get the TV side of things figured out. We got to get the tour in general seen more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
get our players to be stars outside of our little golf world. The golf world is pretty small, so um, get ourselves seen outside of that golf world so that so we can reach other fans and bring more people in.
I have one more question as well. What do you hope that the young girls can
Uh-oh.
take away from you as a player and also as a leader that you've been on tour and Solheim Cup and all the things?
Mhm. I hope the players just see like just the hard work that went into it. A lot of them probably weren't on tour when I was really playing my best, but I hope they've seen like how hard I've worked at everything else. How hard I worked at Solheim, how hard I've worked to get this tour to where it is. That like that's what it takes. Like it just takes hard work. Like you can hire all the people you want, but like until you get in the trenches and you do it yourself,
Mhm.
you're not going to get to where you want to be. So that's what I hope people have seen out of me, and I don't know. I hope they've learned. I've tried to lead by example. I tried to, especially later in my tour years, go sit at the front of the room in the player meetings. Don't sit in the back. And like I've tried to do the right things and
And you
lead
have.
by example.
Yes, you definitely have.
Well, I think you have.
We have a
Yeah.
thousand more questions, but we
Yes.
won't
Thank
ask
you.
anymore because you've
100%.
done
Well,
so well.
yeah.
But
Okay.
thank
We'll
you
let
so
you go
much
for
for
now.
coming
Okay.
on.
Thank you.
And I know you have a lot of stuff going on and enjoy those car rides to school every morning. A little relaxation for a couple of weeks.
We will. We're
Yeah.
we're singing Taylor's new album, so we're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I love it. That's amazing. Well, we can't wait to
Awesome.
see what you get up to. TBD on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, enjoy the retirement. Enjoy the time with your husband and Chesney. And congrats on an amazing career,
Awesome.
Stacy.
Awesome. Thank you both.